Welcome, everybody. Welcome, folks, to I'll Hang Up and Listen. Day one of NHL Free Agency is upon us. Sabres fans, we're probably not too happy. I'm not too happy, even though 10 minutes ago they announced 20 minutes ago they signed the Will Butcher trade, which is nice. One guy left on 1 year deal. He doesn't cost you a lot. He's a serviceable defenseman. Maybe he resigns here. That's great and all. But you lose Jake McCabe, and biggest thing all, you lose Linus Ullmark to none other than the Boston Bruins. You lost him to the Boston Bruins. Oh God, he pulled a LeBron on us. He pulled a LeBron. His agent comes out and says, "Oh, he's made a decision. Stay tuned." Like he's Dominic Hasek or something. He's one of those guys up on the back wall. Linus Ullmark, you can sit on a bike with no seat, dude. Like, you played us just the same way John Tavares played the Islanders. When he told them, don't trade me to the deadline, and he fucks them all over, and he goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we get nothing. I said it. I even tweeted out like a half an hour ago. I said this in April, the day of the deadline, or the day before the deadline. I said, if he is not willing to sign a deal by noon the next day, the start of the NHL trade, during the NHL deadline, if he is not willing to sign, trade him, because there's no way that guy's coming back to this mess next year. There's no way. If he is not willing to sign right then and there when his value is probably at its highest, because for a guy for playing on a terrible team, statistically he wasn't having a bad season. Like, you think in his mind, like, yeah, I should probably, if I'm going to sign anything, sign it now while their backs are up against the wall. Because if you look at the goalies they have, it's not very deep. So they're going to be desperate to sign me. They're going to be willing to overpay me. The moment he wasn't willing to sign right then and there, you should have traded him. You lost him for nothing. Oh, it's just so infuriating, guys. It is so infuriating. Just like it's no longer debatable. We're the most embarrassing sports franchise in all of sports. We just are. We've made it known today. We are in this to tank. Tank 2.0, everybody. And you want to know what? Yeah, maybe that needs to be done, okay? But you know what? We did it the one time, and it was absolutely miserable. It was miserable for the players. You're going to cheer next season against these players that we've had so much optimism about under Granato? Are we going to cheer when they lose next year? Are we going to do that again? Are we going to put this franchise through that shit again? No, we shouldn't. It should have never come to this. This is just so miserable. We don't have a goal. There's no goalie. All the goalies are gone. They're gone. We don't have a goal. I thought Michael Hauser was under contract. Michael Hauser is not even under contract. We can't even have the feel-good story because he's not even under contract. Duska Tokarski's got to be on cloud nine right now because as of right now, he's our starting goalie next year. This is unbelievable. We're the biggest joke in the National Hockey League. Nobody's a bigger joke. Nobody. It is so embarrassing. It is so beyond embarrassing. And I get there are things that need to be done. You have to hit the reset button. I agree. But do we really need to put our fans through this crap again? Like, I don't want to do it again, man. I don't want to have to cheer against. I don't want to cheer for my own team to lose for Shane Wright next season. Who the hell wants to do that? Yes. Ullmark just did a John Tavares to us. I friggin' tweeted it last year. I said if he's not willing to sign, trade his ass now while his value is high. Trade him now. Oh, God. I'm seeing here in the comments we just signed Mark Pysyk. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. breaking news on Two Goalies, One Mike. I'll hang up and listen. We signed Mark Pysyk. Like, who's going to play goalie? Like, who's going to play goalie for this franchise? Who? Who's left? And I'm not going to sit here and say Adams is a failure. I'm not going to do that. Like, he fleeced Philly for Risto. He did, you know, I guess we're made to believe he did what he could with Reinhart. He did what he could. I guess if that was the best offer, that was the best offer. You got a first and a hopefully a top end goalie prospect in Devin Levi. Okay, fine, but at least read the room. Like, I saw last year that he wasn't coming back. Ullmark wasn't coming back, and I get it. You're tanking, so you don't want to win games next year, but you still want to be competitive. You need a competent goalie in that. I'm sorry, you just do. You just do. I don't want to put myself in this franchise, these fans, through that crap again for the second time in 6 or 7 years. Nobody deserves this. No fan base deserves this. None of us do. This is garbage. Like, just get a competent goalie at least. They're all gone. They're all gone. What are you going to do now? You're going to make a deal with Columbus and overpay for one of their two goalies because they know your back's up against the wall and you need a goalie? Like, you don't need that. Just get a competent goalie so at least the team you're putting in front of him, like, at least they can be competitive. And we're not having another Ryan O'Reilly situation where your team comes to the rink and they hate their lives. And I got into it with somebody earlier on Twitter about this. Don't bring UPL up. Don't bring him into this locker room and into that environment. I talked to Connor Knapp personally, who was there at the end of the tank year when they were tanking, and he said that locker room was miserable. Miserable. Who would want to put your 22-year-old goalie through that? He's not even ready. He's barely ready for the AHL. You're going to bring him up to play in the NHL on a team built to lose? You are out of your mind. That is not how you develop a goaltender. You don't make him do that. Sure, a game here and there, fine. But you're not going to bring this guy up to play 40, 50 games. That's ridiculous. That's insane. Like, am I going bananas here? Like, I just don't want to put us through this again. I am all for putting ourselves in a position to go get Shane Wright, but it can be done a different way. Stop putting your fans through this garbage, thinking like, oh, this has to happen and think it's a fun experience. It's not a fun experience. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. That being said, just get a competent goalie just to play and keep that team in some games, so they're not just coming to the rink and hating their lives. You're building the same exact culture you had when you dealt with the Ryan O'Reilly situation, because that affects everybody. Anybody who says it doesn't has never been in a locker room before. It's a fact. Ask anybody when you literally come to the rink and all you do is lose and bring a negative attitude with you every single practice and game. It affects everything. And all you have is a bunch of 20 to 23-year-old kids on this team. You don't want that to affect their development. So get a goalie. Just go get a goalie, a competent goalie. Don't roll Dustin Tokarski out there and think that's good enough. Or force UPL into a situation he might not be ready for. That's a joke. Like, right here, perfect. It's gonna ruin our young kids' minds, and that's not even just the players. That's the fans too. That's the fans. Like, these kids don't even know what a good hockey team looks like, and now for the next 3 to 5 years, they're not gonna know that either. Maybe we're lucky and excuse me. Maybe we're lucky and we Sam Ventura and the scouting staff improves. I don't know, man. I just can't do this anymore. I can't stomach going into a game and cheer for my team to lose again. Oh. I just give me a goalie, man. Just give me a goalie. A goalie to make games we're not getting pumped. Anybody who thinks that this team is going to be fine next year, I'm sorry, you are out of your mind. Out of your mind. And not to mention, we're just going to force Dali into another losing season. You better lock him up long term, I swear to God. I personally just lock him up long term, because if you do another bridge deal, when that bridge deal is up, he's going to think, well, I don't want to come back here. What if they do 3 more years of losing? Another 3 years of losing. He's going to want to re-sign here? Even if you do control his rights? Hell no. The Sabres acquired Will Butcher today, which is a good deal, in my opinion. He's a good defenseman. They brought back Brandon Davidson, league minimum, whatever. He's a depth signing. Lost Jake McCabe, another loss for me, in my opinion. He was probably the biggest leader in that room last season. With Jack out of there, it's just, it's a guy you could have put the C on, and he lost him to the Blackhawks, possibly a franchise if he shot into the sun. Don't even get me started on that. Signed, yeah, like I said, you brought in Will Butcher. Again, a good defenseman. From New Jersey. You acquired a 5th-round pick along with him too. Obviously just to take on the cap hit for New Jersey. Had a solid year last year on a bad team. It was only on -3, which that's a very loaded stat. It's not very reliable, plus minus, but 11 points in 23 games as a defenseman. Very highly touted coming out of college. I remember we wanted to get our hands on him. Well, now he's a Buffalo Sabre for the next year, so let's do our best to get this guy under contract, because I think he can be very serviceable defenseman for us going forward. He's had some good years here. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's not a one and done thing, and all we end up getting out of it is a 5th-round pick. And excuse me for butchering this name if I am. Vinny Hinostrova, currently now obviously just signs with the Buffalo Sabres on a 1-year deal, 1 year for $1 million, I believe. Steve Dangle actually messaged me right after we signed him and said that he really wanted to get his hands on him. He's a serviceable center. He would normally probably play in your as a 3rd-line center, but in the situation we're going to be in, you're probably looking at him at your 2nd-line center, because Dylan Cousins is still your 1st-line center. I don't really know where he's going to slot in, but last season between both Florida and Chicago, he had 12 points in looks like 26 games. Not terrible for a depth forward, depth center. Also spent a lot of time with a couple seasons with Arizona, and he started this year with Chicago. 112 points in 272 games. Again, I don't know too much about him other than, like I said, Steve Dangle, a guy I respect in hockey. He messaged me immediately and said that's a good signing. I wanted him too in Toronto. And then obviously, again, not much else happened. The Bruins got a lot better. They signed Nosek. They brought in obviously Ullmark. Can't fuck him. Nick Foligno, just to name a few. They got a lot better. A team I hate seeing get better. You have the Dougie Hamilton signing in New Jersey. I think it was 7 years for $9 million per. Eric Holla in Boston too. Thank you. Just a big day for a lot of teams. A lot of teams got better. Obviously, most notably the Dougie Hamilton signing. You had Marc-Andre Fleury get traded to the Blackhawks. He's contemplating retirement. Like I said, I personally hope he does, because I hate that entire team. Hate that entire franchise. I hate that Jake McCabe signed there. I love Jake McCabe. I hate the team he went to. I think I honestly hate the Chicago Blackhawks more than I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's a fact. 100%. I just hate that franchise for what they're getting potentially getting away with right now and the lives they've ruined. So, just I know like I go off the handle a lot and just, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the signing of, this Vinny Hinostrova kid. He's 27 years old. He's still young. And I hope things work out with him this season. I like the Will Butcher trade 100%. Again, Brandon Davidson is just a depth thing. But I can't get over the fact that we don't have a goalie. We don't have a goalie. We have no goalies. Yes. How are they going to get to the cap floor? We have no goalies. Show's called 2 goalies, 1 Mike. No goalies in the net. Buffalo, New York. Just play with 6. Just play with 6 attackers. Screw it. All season, just play with 6 attackers. Oh my God! How many games do you think they would actually win if they just played with no goalie other than 6 attackers? Probably none, right? Yeah, they'd go with 182. Doesn't matter. Oh my God! And then Carter Hutton signing with Arizona. I mean, we give him a lot of grief, but good for him. Whatever. Have a chance somewhere else, maybe fresh slate. Again, very negative atmosphere in Buffalo in that locker room. Whether he was a part of that negative atmosphere or not, like I'm happy to see him go somewhere else and get a fresh start. Good for him. Much happier for him than I am Linus Ullmark. That guy could sit and spin. They should have traded him. They should have traded him. I freaking said it. If he's not willing to sign the day before the trade deadline, trade him. Trade him. He wasn't going to come back. His value is as high as it was ever going to be right then and there. We had no depth. We had no depth at goaltending. We had nothing. Carter Hutton was leaving and he wasn't coming back. Why did you trade him? Oh. Anyways, guys, hopefully the next 24 hours we have some better news. They got to find a goalie. I don't care if we are tanking or not. You cannot allow, because you're going to have this franchise, the fans that do show up to games. You know they're gonna boo them. They're booing for the tank. 100%. It's gonna happen. Like there'll be fans that do that. So that's gonna be hard enough to deal with as a young team as it is, and then you're gonna expect just to have an ECHL goalie in that, and just whatever. We're going for Shane Wright. You expect that the mentality of that is gonna have a positive effect in the long term on these players, especially the ones that are going through it again. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. I don't want to put this fan base to at least put a competent goalie in that, man. There were so many that were signed today. So many. Like, I get it, man. You might have to lose again to get better. But you may have not won the lottery last time, but you still got Jack Eichel, who would go first overall in any other draft if he wasn't in the McDavid draft. And he would have. I don't care what anybody says. He would have been first overall in the Austin Matthews draft. At that time, when those players go head-to-head at that moment in their lives, Jack Eichel, I think, broke the all-time scoring record for I think it was, somebody correct me, he broke Paul Correa's college scoring record as a freshman, as a true freshman. Guy was a phenom, an absolute phenom. First overall in any other draft. Again, you could compare the two players right now, Austin and Jack, but at that time, Jack would have went first over Austin, 100%. Maybe it might be different if you redrafted it now, but like at that moment, 100%. And just, you had this guy, you had Sam Reinhart, you had Erasmus Dahlin gift wrapped to you in the most unintentional tank there was. You weren't even expecting to be bad, and you were. Yeah, we haven't seen Eichel at his best. It's just the best player to wear a Sabres jersey since Pat LaFontaine, and I don't care what anybody says. It's a fact. You don't come across players like him very often, and you were gifted him. You got him for free. 3 years on an entry-level deal. Same thing with Sam. Same thing with Dahlin, and you squandered it. And we're just going to do this again? We're just going to do this again and expect different results? I want it to work, man, but like, just give the fans something to watch. I'm so sick and tired. I'm just feeling like miserable when I watch these games. I love this sport. I love this team, man, but it's just, when does it end? This is so much worse than the Bills, John. It is. It is. Because at least the Bills were competitive, so, like most of those seasons, like some of those seasons, like they were 8-8. You know, they were always in the hunt. Like this, it's just like 82 games of just a knife just slowly being twisted in your back. But I'll let you all go. I'll hang up and listen. This needs to get better. It's just, we need a goalie. Just get a goalie. But love you guys. I'll hang up and listen.